behind D. Colonel, what's a Russian gunship doing here? This game I'm about to talk is like so quotable, it's not even funny. So serious. Alright, before I get to the game, it's an old game. I just want to throw a little question at you guys real quick. Get your brain wheels moving, maybe. Or you might just find it offensive. I don't know. Anyway, totally unrelated to the game about to talk about, by the way. But so they were doing a survey in some horror magazine. I believe it was Scream or Ultraviolet. I don't know, some foreign horror magazine. And there was a movie. It was called Men Behind the Sun. It's crazy, crazy Japanese war film. And they, in one scene, it's torturing animals and humans. And so they did a poll saying, okay, what do people feel more sorry for? The humans getting, vigorously tortured and, maimed, or the animals getting hurt? And like 9 times out of 10, this is what the director said, people ignored the humans, the actual people, and felt really bad for the animals. I kind of hear this all the time, actually. It's nothing new to me, but I just thought it was interesting. Like, so here's the question. All right, from afar you see 2 people drowning. Actually, 1 person and a pet, any animal that you could own as a pet, and a loved one, someone you really care about every day. You can't live without them. So, you can only save one of them. Who would you save? Would you save the loved one family member or your pet? Tell me your answer below if you feel like answering it. I don't know, just thought I'd mess with you guys. Anyway, if you haven't guessed what video game I'm talking about, Metal Gear Solid. In case you're totally confused, that line I mentioned, that quote I opened this video with, direct quote from like I said, it's quotable. Everything about the game is, it kind of sticks with you. So it came out in 1998, I believe. Konami Productions. Konami's like this video game enterprise. There's a lot of games that are familiar with people, especially for PlayStation. The mastermind behind it, Hideo Kojima. Brilliant game designer, game director, whatever. He wears a lot of hats, the guy. Unfortunately, recently he split, not on his own terms. He was kind of like forcibly removed from Konami. I feel like it was a big mistake on their end, because the guy, clearly knows how to make a really good game and knows how to tell a story. Speaking of story, that's what this one's all about. Metal Gear, man. You get lost in it. Spawned a lot of sequels. I'm sure half the people I'm talking to right now at least played one of them. I mean, there's Metal Gear 1, 2, 3. There's a Portable Ops version, Game Boy Color version. There's a... Oh, God. Just goes down the line. Peace Walker, Guns of the Patriots, Ground Zeroes, Phantom Pain. Fortunately, that's it, though. So since the original creator, Hideo Kojima, he kind of moved on, did actually a video game called Death Stranding, which is still an enigma to me. I haven't played it yet. No other people have played it. To me, it looks like you're a futuristic mailman in a post-apocalyptic world delivering packages. That's what it looks like, but I promise you it's probably so more... The scope of it is incredible. Yeah, I can't even tell you, like, anything else beside that. Like, you have to go play it yourself. I'm sure it's one of those games that you pick up, you're like, I don't have time for this. And then you touch it later on, you're like, oh my god, what was I missing? I've come across games like that I should have played when they came out, but didn't, and waited. And I'm like, oh man, I needed this in my life. It's kind of like for me with like Skyrim. But yeah, Metal Gear. So picture this, a game that was birthed from, movie-wise, because it feels like a movie too. Jerry Bruckheimer, however you say his name, action-packed producer, director back in the day, The Rock, movies like that. James Cameron, and Michael Bay. I'm trying to think who else. Who else would be a good director? Imagine if all those guys got together, all those action-packed movie directors had a baby. This would be that, the product of that. Yeah, nothing but good to say about the movie. The video game, Metal Gear Solid, is fantastic. It's the game. I mean, if you have the time, you could probably play it. In fact, it was so big, the game, like literally like the memory file, right? It was on the original PlayStation, so it had to be done on 2 discs. So after you were done playing like 1 hour, you would play like another hour, however long it was, however long you spaced it out. But I mean, it was fantastic. I had a lot of fun with it. There was like training missions you could do, like as the options, whatever. Certain things like you could wear like a stealth suit and a bandana to get infinite ammo and all that stuff. I don't know. The movie was great. I did hear that they were going to make a movie. The director who did King Kong Skull Island, I believe, said he was working on it. I haven't heard much. He dropped like a few hints here and there, but that was about it. So I don't know what became of that. But it's scary because most video games that turn to movies suck. They're just horrible, I don't think it's their fault. I think it's the person behind it. Like if you get like a director that doesn't know how to, tell a story like that, it's kind of hard. It really is. It's hard, especially with the game that is already theatrical itself. So the director has a lot. My advice to this director who's making the Metal Gear Solid movie would be listen to the fans, and maybe hire Hideo Kojima as a producer or an advisor or something. But yeah, it definitely left an impression. I bought the collectible figures, which were like ridiculously expensive, about like this big, but they're awesome. Kind of wish I didn't open them. I was kind of young at the time, so I'm like, ooh, toys, But yeah, I don't know. I would open them and then save the boxes like that, just compromise them right there. But I did buy, recent figures that I kind of put away, hid them away. I guess for future investments. I don't know, just like so I could have them. But yeah, wow. I mean, so basically the game, like the first one, is definitely tactical espionage action. I think that's like actually written on the title. There was a GameCube remake, which was kind of like remastered. So there's a little tidbit of information. The vocal job was kind of shoddy. Like I guess if you turn up the mic a little bit or the volume, you can hear like cars going by, and they re-recorded it. Same actors, I think most of them reprised their same role in the video game for Twin Snakes, which was for GameCube. Oh, I wish I would port that over to PlayStation 4 or 5. Please, guys, just do that for us. I don't think Metal Gear Solid could be repeated. In fact, now that the creative mind behind it kind of left the company, there's, I don't think they have any future plans on bringing it back. I mean, they tried the spin-offs and stuff, but it's not the same, It's very unfortunate. But yeah, totally. You could replay it on different difficulties, challenge yourself, whatever. But it's sometimes it's definitely worthy of a movie. Just I hope they approach it right. What else can I say about it? Oh yeah, the story. So the first one, PlayStation. Got it kind of late in the game, but later on in life. But definitely worth it. I think I bought it used, like a Game of the Year edition or something. Anyway, yeah, so this, Alaskan nuclear disposal facility gets under attack and, pretty much held, occupied by this, former special force terrorist group called Foxhound. And so the U.S. government hires this guy that's kind of like, on the down low, living life in Alaska, enjoying the wilderness and all that stuff, named Snake. That's his code name anyway. So it turns out this guy's a clone of a super soldier named Big Boss. And we learned about Big Boss down the road. Like I said, there's prequels, sequels, yada yada yada. So he kind of like forcing the mission, accepts it, and just goes in. Not like James Bond either. He goes in sneaky, but then it's like guns blazing. Well, it really depends on you. Stealth is a big factor in the game, but like I said, totally up to you. Yeah, it pits you against these really wide range of crazy characters, bosses. Revolver Asenlan. Like, listen to that name, Asenlan. Dude's like a former Russian Spetsnaz dude, but he's like a Westerner, like a cowboy dude. 6 shooters. Vulcan Raven, big massive dude with a freaking cannon, like a Gatling gun from like Resident Evil 3 or 2 or whatever. Sniper Wolf, this hot sniper that tries to seduce you at the same time. Crazy. Psycho Manus, read your mind. In fact, during fighting him, like if you don't know the technique already, so basically when you fight him, you have to switch ports of your controller, which I think was kind of brilliant. So, because you guesses your every move, because he's, telepathic and read your mind and all that stuff. And a bunch of other characters you run across. The main bad guy of this is actually your brother, another clone of Big Boss, Liquid Snake. So you got Solid, Liquid, and down the line you got other, boss characters. There's a giant mech called Metal Gear, which you learn about, and you can launch missiles, but it's like a walking tank pretty much. And you fight that. There's a cyber ninja in the game that you're like old war buddies with. I don't know. It's a big story. If you haven't played it, please do yourself the favor. Somehow play the original one. In fact, if you're into the whole, system classics, they released the PlayStation Classic. It's on there. Pick it up. No excuse. Or port it to your PC. Whatever it is, Like I said, the sequels, definitely the guy who made this game knows how to tell a story. It's like you're playing a movie, and I really can't think of nothing close back then. I mean, there was a few games, but nothing quite as epic, and it was like a game changer for like a late 90s kind of game to be released. Yeah, it was fun. I play it now, it's like, I got that pause and collect myself. Nostalgia City, And yeah, crazy. Definitely enjoyed played majority of them. And I mean, it's a shame there probably won't be anything close to it. There's been games that try to mimic it and pantomime it a little bit, but nah, it's untouchable. And I'm glad I got to play it. And maybe down the road, I mean, the producer, right, so the inventor of Metal Gear, is doing his own thing, Kojima Productions. And his first game, like I said, haven't really touched it. I watched like an hour's worth of cutscenes, and I'm still baffled. But that's the guy does tricks to your mind, and you're like, what am I watching? There's like a big underlining secret message to all these games, and it takes a few playthroughs to get them, or maybe you recognize them right away. I don't know, but they make you think. They're fun to play, and it's everything kind of has a purpose, and you get immersed in the story, which I love. I've never played games like Heavy Rain or The Last of Us. I know I should. Don't get on my back. I will. I just life is right now, but story-wise, I don't want to say similar because those are different genres of games, but I mean, Metal Gear, I don't want to say started it all, but definitely had a lot to do with storytelling in game, and did it right, and pretty much changed how I viewed video games. Not only were movies entertaining, but now video games are brought into the spectrum, and Metal Gear, which deserves to be a movie done by the right person, definitely is a worthy game to be played by teens up. If you're 50, you can play this game and enjoy it. But yeah, like I said, I don't think we're gonna get another Metal Gear, but if we do, we'll get something like a shell of his former self. With Kojima moving on, he has all the time in the world to be creative. Nothing really holding him back. Um, he's got the whole Kojima Productions things. If you don't know that, released Death Stranding through that, which should be an interesting game. Like I said, if you want to check his own stuff, his independent stuff. What next? I don't know. He's kind of hinted like a silent. He was supposed to do like a Silent Hills, and then he got kind of canned. So he might touch on that again. Not Silent Hill, of course, but like a survival horror game. But no one, Kojima, he's like Quentin Tarantino of the video game world. You think you know what he's doing, but really kind of flips you on your head. There's a 360 there. So yeah, I can't wait to see what he does next. And this game will definitely be part of video game history because it's that good. I understand there's other good games out there that probably surpass this graphically and acting wise, but you gotta love the classics. And Metal Gear, I think, will always be like in that chamber, like to reference to. So just like Resident Evil, all the greats. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. Definitely pick it up if you haven't played it. Watch other people play it on YouTube. Like I said, sky's the limit, and definitely get exposed. Metal Gear is definitely something worthy of playing and watching. That's all I gotta say, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope all of you are, being safe and, staying healthy and all that stuff. I know I sound like a broken record at the end of these, always saying it, but I truly do care about you guys and people listening to me. Because this is like therapy. We have things like this to just talk and see whatever's on our mind. And, if people listen, great. If I could make someone's day or, make them think, then cool. My job is done, All right. Well, until next time, thanks again for watching, and see you all very soon. Peace.